Give me some celeb goss, mate. This show's half footy, half celebs. Like, you can give me some tea on Harry Styles if you want.
Chris Martin would run from the hotel to the venue.
Oh, yeah.
And I've literally just run straight in. Like, bang, we were there for a couple of minutes. And he goes, well, where are you going? Like, you're on stage at, 15 minutes. He goes, I'm pretty sure they'll wait for me.
Oh,
how good.
What a legend.
We're starting concerts in Grand Final week this year with Dolla on Grand Final Eve. We got Harry Styles 4 times, Robbie Williams.
Okay, so essentially why we've got you on the show is we want some free tickets.
I was waiting for this.
Throw me in the deep end. What am I doing?
You will come through gate 1. You'll put the harness on. You're going to walk up to level 3, through the seating bowl, through the back, up the ladder and onto the roof. You actually go and sit on the scoreboard and watch whatever's happening on the ground.
That's pretty sick.
There's pyro up there.
Yeah, you don't get hit by a firework.
Third degree burns.
No, not for this face. All right, so I sent you a message today saying what time should we meet in the city, and you wrote back and said, anytime you want, baby. So I'll just throw that up. Bing, here we go. There's the screenshot of that text. Isaac stopped flirting with me, which led me to say on this episode...
You know what concerns me? How excited you got from
that text. I was tickled pink. I was blushing. But that led me to say on air, mic rather, happy anniversary.
What
it
for?
has been 1 year since we met.
God, it feels like a lifetime.
I can't actually remember life before this show, life before you. I mean, I feel like I speak to you more than I speak to most people. So happy anniversary, babe. It's been a really beautiful,
I sent that text as a
year.
laugh. Now I'm feeling very uncomfortable about the whole situation. Can you back off?
Anyway, the reason that I thought that was quite apt was because if we take the whole of the last 12 months into consideration, and the reason that we met was because we were pushing ourselves to the mental and physical limit doing the Big 5 marathon 12 months ago for Carrie's Beatings for Brain Cancer and ultimately to raise as much money as we could for cancer research. And it made me think, at the beginning of this season, I set you the challenge to go and walk at Australian Fashion Week and leave your comfort zone, and you excelled. And so I think the very least that I could do is return the favour, the humiliation, if you will, and do something that helps me leave my comfort zone. So I think maybe sometime in the next couple of weeks, and now that I'm back on my feet walking, we need to think of something that we can do. Maybe later down the episode we can figure it out. But I wanted to ask you, in your life, where have you found that you have really pushed yourself into the most discomfort?
So I was so fortunate playing sport at the elite level. You were forever put in scenarios that made you feel really uncomfortable, and you had to work out and develop little tricks to get through them. But then post-football, and I was so fortunate that I had that career because my second child, I've spoken about this publicly, my second child was born, my wife caught a virus in utero, and he was born with a little bit of hearing loss. And that 12 months, I dealt with that challenge fine. I just thought this is something else, we'll just deal with it, whatever it is. And I know Candace had a really rough time for at least 12 months there. But it wasn't until my third child, Pierce, just before I met you, was born, and he failed his hearing test 3 times.
Is it the same across both boys, across Emmett and Pierce?
Yeah. So, for example, what Emmett had, we were told that Candace couldn't catch it again. It's only for the first time, CMV, if you haven't heard of it.
So Candace got sick while she was pregnant?
Yeah, but she wouldn't have known because if you get it, it's like a little common cold in an adult.
You wouldn't know. Right, okay.
And 98% of adults by the age of 40 have had CMV. It's just if you catch it for the first time when you have a child in utero, then it can cause issues, severe death, on the mild side, mild hearing loss. But then my second son, third child, was born Pierce, and he failed his hearing test 3 times. And that's, as soon as you fail your hearing test, one of the triggers is to test for CMV. We thought, it'll be fine. He's just got fluid in his ears, but continued to fail. Then we had to go for a day of testing. And that was the most challenging day I reckon I've had because it brought up all the old emotions of Emmett. It brought up what that 12 months was like. And my concern and thought was purely, how am I going to support Candace for the next umpteen weeks, months, years, because she will struggle with it a lot more than I will. I remember just ringing my sister and breaking down on the phone thinking, oh no, we're going to go through this whole schmozzle again. And it wasn't until I could sit and process it and then go back on the lessons that I got taught during football to then be able to then take the next step and go to the hospital and get him tested. And we kept delaying the actual test and changing it. We wanted to get it done as quick as possible, but we felt so uncomfortable about that situation. And then we went in, got tested. All it was fluid in the ears, no problem, nothing wrong. And I know that's not really a story about I had to confront something and then move on. But the challenge of actually taking him to the hospital that day was one of the hardest things I've ever done. And then the euphoria and relief that I got post that test, and knowing that everything was all clear, knowing that we have no further issues or complications with Emmett because it would have been something else that caused it and we would have had to go through more testing, was something pretty special. But I guess what you learn through that is that you're going to have fear and you're going to have anxieties about so many things in life. Confront them, deal with them, and then continue to step forward. And you always will, and you'll always be able to move forward. But that was one of the most challenging periods.
What do you think that the lessons you learned in football, as you just touched on, that you implemented throughout that time? And what advice could you leave to our listeners who might be facing something similar, whether it be the health of their child or their personal health or whatever?
Well, personal health, and more often than not, you want to keep things private. But if you can let your support network know, and we had a great support network, then it is so much better. I know when Candace went through her first pregnancy, a lot of things you sort of keep private. By the third one, it's just everyone in your circle knows. And the support that we then were offered by so many people around us was something pretty special. So letting the people you know trust when you're going through something. And then also, I think the beauty about football was it doesn't matter whether you win or lose publicly, you get berated, privately, you've got issues, whatever, that it doesn't matter. It will be okay. And whatever happens post it, that's the new normal. And you've got all the tools in your kit bag to deal with it. Knowing that, leaning back on it, learning from it, but then confronting what we had to confront. And there's something, when it's you, it's fine. When it's your child, there's just something different about that. And every parent would know that when you've got concern for your child, it's something certainly, well, for me, anxiety provoking. So anyway, I didn't think we were going to get so heavy. What are you going to say? What's your story?
Okay, well, allow me to switch the tone of the show. I was like, where have I faced adversity in my life? Like, well, first of all, I don't have children.
Yeah.
And I've never had a pet. I had a rabbit when I lived in Hong Kong.
A rabbit's not a pet.
Well, mate, it chewed through an iPhone cord and fucking killed itself. So, like...
What, killed itself? Well, there's enough electricity that goes through an iPhone cord.
It was just like a fluff ball on the floor. We were like, oh, shit, you can't flush that down the toilet like a goldfish. So we moved right over the rabbit. Rest in peace, Tinsley. But I tell you what...
You had a rabbit called Fair.
It was named after Tinsley Mortimer, who's now on The Real Housewives of New York. But back then, she was a very fabulous socialite. She was a Norwegian dwarf rabbit, iconic. She came home in a milk carton, quite literally. Anyway, that was a very different life.
We live different lives.
This is so different. I feel so bad telling this story after what you've just said.
Nah,
it is so
Fire.
beautiful and from the heart about your children.
The tone of the show is not getting deep. And
Okay, so I'm trying to think of like lessons I've learned in my life where I've faced deep adversity. In my early 20s, I was a chronic dieter. Like anyone who was...
Of course you were.
Anyone who was growing up in like that millennial turn of the year 2000, like growing up with Paris Hilton, Nicole Richie, Lindsay Lohan. I had the sparkly flip Motorola V3. I had the Juicy Couture sweatpants. Like they were just, to me, like deities. I was obsessed with them. And still to this day, I love those girls because I've grown up with them. You know, like they're my best friends. Anyway, so they'd always be posting about these like different, not posting, they didn't even post.
What's happening here?
They were doing all these, exactly, just stay with me. So they do all these like, they publish all these fad diets in magazines and stuff. Remember like New Idea and Who and all of that?
Yeah, I can't say I've ever read them, but
It's pre-social media, obviously.
Yeah.
And so I remember one of them was like the all purple diet. And by the way, there is a lesson here.
What, like eggplant? And...
Yeah. So like grapes, eggplant.
No, green grapes are the best.
Cabbage.
Yeah.
This is the dream. I'm like in year... Oh, no, I was driving. So I must have been 18, like so at Xavier. Like just still. Yeah, 2009, I was 18. So anyway, so I'm like, I'm going to do this all purple diet for 3 days. Like, check, I'm giving full Paris Hilton, I'm obsessed. So anyway, I'm eating all this purple shit. Mum's like, fuck, the cabbage stinks. Like, get out of the kitchen. And I'm like, frying up the cabbage, like disgusting. Anyway, it's going on and I'm feeling good. I'm looking thin. I'm loving myself sick. Anyway, I'm driving home down Toorak Road. And for anyone who lives in Melbourne who's been caught on Toorak Road on multiple times, you know the traffic is notoriously horrific, right? So not only is the traffic notoriously horrific...
I think I know where this story's going. This is great.
I'm getting every single red light down the road. The missiles, they need to be deployed, and home is a far stretch from where I prefer it to be. The hot sweats are coming. It's going, I'm like... every single red light to the next minute, it's like, nah, purple food releases itself.
What, in the car? That's That's revolting.
I'm almost home. I couldn't hold. Anyway, put the rest of your imagination. Missiles deployed, bang. It's an absolute disaster. I've run into home. Mum's like, don't look at me.
So I'm more deep and meaningful and you're talking about shitting yourself in the car because you're on some stupid fad
The
diet.
lesson that I've learned in great adversity is don't do stuff that pushes your health to the physical limit. It's stupid. Take much better care of yourself and not be a fucking idiot when it comes to that crap.
Well, Elliot, we know you don't like heights, and we know that Marvel are now bringing a skywalk to Melbourne. So it's going to be the Sydney Harbour Bridge climb. And you know that I'm mates with Scotty Fitzgerald, the GM of Marvel.
And you're hiding behind these curtains.
And I was hiding behind the curtains because bang,
Boom.
he's just arrived.
Voila.
He's teleported.
So essentially, I'm fucked. I can't get out of it because now I'm going to have to do this climb. Anyway, Scotty, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
General manager of Marvel,
Yes.
which is obviously a huge undertaking. For those who aren't necessarily Victorian listeners, do you want to explain the impact that Marvel has on the city?
Sure. So we are the busiest multi-purpose venue in the world. We're the 5th highest attended entertainment venue in the world.
Whoa, okay.
So we're doing between 70 and 80 events a year, lots of footy, but also more and more entertainment. So concerts, Matildas, Socceroos, special events, cultural events. And we've just launched, as you've sort of mentioned, Marvel Stadium 365, which is a 365-day-a-year attractions business, which is really, it should be Marvel Stadium 285 or 280 because 75 times a year, we're pretty busy and pretty full. So what we're trying to do is bring more and more entertainment, more activity to that precinct for the days where we don't have anything on.
So when is that? Well, part of my ignorance. So obviously the footy season's chockers.
Yeah, so we run footy from March to September.
Yeah.
We do a bit of stuff in September, but we're starting concerts in Grand Final week this year with hometown hero Dolla on Grand Final Eve. Not part of Grand Final week per se, but sort of in and around it and borrowing a bit of cool and lending a bit of cool at the same time.
Yeah.
But then from October through to December, we're doing a bunch of shows.
You obviously got Harry Styles.
We got Harry Styles 4 times, Robbie Williams, Foo
4
Fighters.
times.
Oh, yeah.
Robbie Williams. Okay, so essentially why we've got you on the show is we want some free tickets.
I was waiting for this.
You already got your Harry Style tickets. I didn't even know.
Not the other 3 nights,
I didn't even know he was a singer, Scott.
I've only got one. I've only got one night.
Yeah, so we do that, and then we do a bit of cricket, obviously working through what that looks like for next year, and then between sort of end of January and the start of the footy season, we try and jam in a bunch more concerts. So next year, BTS are coming, and we're working on a couple of others to get in before the start of the season. Then we rip all the dead grass up, relay it, and play footy again in March, and the cycle repeats itself.
So your strategy is to be a 365-day-a-year venue. How do you go about that? Purely because there's so many days, and I know you've got the Skywalk now, but there's so many days that are so difficult to fill.
Yeah, it's funny. So we've got a weddings, parties, anything business called Elevate. So we're doing business events, conferences, celebrations, team meetings, and we're doing about 500 of those a year. So 10 a week. So there's already people coming through the precinct. The idea that we've built a pub. So we've got a pub, a restaurant, we have a cafe, we have a burger place, we have a bar, and we're opening those during the day. So we're servicing people who are in the precinct, which is starting to grow. And then we're also bringing people in this attractions piece. So part of it is what's an attractor and what's a servicer.
Yeah.
So we've got a lot of stuff to service things, and now we're looking at things that are going to attract people to the place. Other than the 500 business events, how do we plug them into the different places and spaces? But then what are the top 10 things to do in Melbourne? That's why we're thinking about Marvel Stadium roof climb, Marvel Stadium tour. We're working on an immersive sort of experience, sort of like the Light Room in London, telling football stories, entertainment stories in an immersive way. Things that are going to bring 5, 6, 1,000 people plus a day down into the precinct. And then when we get them there, they have something to eat, they have a coffee, they have a drink, and they do the things that you would do in other entertainment precincts. So it's been very deliberate. It's taken some time. I think we opened the new building. We had a wonderful partnership with the state government, a couple $100 million bucks and change, redeveloped the thing. And a big bent of that was actually turning the thing on outside days other than event days. So, I mean, we've got 2.5 million people coming for events. We want to be bringing another couple of 100,000 plus from outside the precinct into it over the course of the remaining days.
So just quickly, I'm easily pleased. So you have beer
Understatement of the century, mate.
you have beer on tap, you have some chips or a sausage roll or something, you put the footy on, and I'm happy as Larry. You have that many games a year, I'm sweet. Someone of Elliot's calibre, though, grew up in the eastern suburbs of Melbourne, or I don't even know what you call that, Toorak, South Yarra area, but in that area, how do you entertain him?
God, he's shady. He's a shady
Because you do have restaurants, you do have bars, you do you have concerts, you got everything.
Yeah, I think two things. The events that we're attracting are more entertainment events, things that are not just football. And football is unbelievable. Football at Marvel is excellent. I don't think we get enough credit for that. But the thing that we're doing at scale now is entertainment. And part of the entertainment is not just what's happening on the stage, and the world's biggest acts are playing at the stadium, but what's the experiences to sit around them. So we've got a Stoke House, a Stoke Grill, which is a partnership with the Stoke House team out of St Kilda.
Amazing.
And that's an exclusive to us. We're working with Stephen Nan from Yugen Dining and Omnia. He curates a 50, 60-person exclusive dining space in Altus for us.
And is that just for patrons who first invest for us, like they can just book?
So those two are a part of membership programs.
Okay,
We've got a Leho Fook, which is Duckboard Place Institution.
That's good. You did drop once that into the commentary box. It needs to come more often. It's very good. I can...
So it's that. And they're in member spaces, but we've got a restaurant called Amphora, which is a beautiful modern contemporary Australian restaurant. You could be anywhere. You just happen to be in a sporting stadium, and we're adding all of these different experiences, different ways to view sport and entertainment as well. So as much as, yes, I love a pie and a beer as much as any person, not as much as you, I don't think, Izzy, but as much as any person, but more and more we're catering to people who are, the entertainment's just an excuse to experience something really good from a food and beverage perspective, and we're really leaning into that.
Well, mate, I must say, this is no joke. Some of my earliest memories of going to the footy and consuming sport with my dad were actually at Marvel way back when it was named 3 different names ago.
Colonial.
I was going to say, can we say it? Can we not say it? When it was Colonial Stadium.
Yeah.
And this is when my dad had Medallion Club tickets, and you want to talk about diversifying the offering to the consumer who's there. Even way back when, in these Medallion Club seats, the footy would be playing and I'd be watching reality TV on my TV out of my arm. I'm like, what footy? I'm like sitting here on my little screen in my chair having the time of my life, and the footy's going on in the background. So I think what's really amazing about Marvel Stadium and what it has done and will continue to do under your incredible leadership. Now, before we get into this 365 challenge that we're going to talk about, give me some celeb goss, mate. This show's half footy, half celebs. I want to know who's come through those tunnels. You can give me some tea on Harry Styles if you want. Look, I'm not subjective, but I am wildly obsessed with him.
Yes.
What's on their what's it called, Rita?
Rider,
Rider. What's on their rider? Like, what's been the biggest demand? Who's been the best to work with?
Yeah.
Any tea you can spill?
Every now and again you get to bump into them. I was actually walking out of service entry into the internal ring road, and Chris Martin would run from the hotel to the venue.
Oh, yeah.
And I was coming out of where the sort of media centre is and walking around, and I've literally just run straight in, like, bang, nearly collected each other. And I was like, oh.
You were obviously going for a run as well.
No, I was in a suit. So but anyway, so it's very apologetic and really sorry. And I thought to myself, shit, this is a moment where I could like get the photo out and maybe get a photo with him. And I'd chickened out on that part. But he was, our job is not to get in their face. Our job is to make their stay really, really good. But in the odd time, one that we did meet and spend a little bit of time with, and I say like 10 to 15 minutes with, was a guy, Luke Combs.
The country singer, Isaac loves him.
He's so good.
And so I went into this show thinking, Luke Combs, yeah, pretty good. And I've heard a bit of it. And after his shows, I've not stopped listening to it, to the point where I know he's touring again overseas. We hope at some point he decides to come back to Melbourne. We're not sure if and when that is. But we were sort of talking to him, and he's a really humble guy. And we're about to leave. It's about sort of 8:15 and the show's at 8:30. And we're like, oh, well, mate, thanks very much. We were there for a couple of minutes. And he goes, well, where are you going? Like, why are you leaving? So, well, you got to go and do the thing, and you're on stage at 15 minutes. He goes, I'm pretty sure they'll wait for me.
How
So
good.
we ended up just staying and
legend.
having a chat. Our chairman Matthew Chan, myself, just shooting the breeze with him about what he's doing and where he's at and where's next and when he's heading home. And it was just a really real conversation and not what we'd expected. And there's been others where they can be some very odd interactions, but
that was very diplomatic.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
So talking about entertainers, I was sitting next to Stuart Fox a couple of weeks ago.
Yes.
And he asked me, he said, if you could get one person out for the AFL Grand Final, who would it be? So I'm going to ask you, if you could get one entertainer out to Marvel, who would it be? I said, if you could get Eminem, you'd have 6-year-olds dancing in the stands, and you'd have 90-year-olds, and it would bring everyone
I do
together.
not agree with Eminem. Anyway, Scotty can tell us.
Yeah, well, it was funny. My mum's got some very firm views. Rose Fitzgerald, she's very, very firm on the sorts of entertainment acts she wants to see. So I generally start there. You want to look after your mum. Mum said, well, I don't think you can get Elton John, but if you could, that'd be great. So I don't think Elton's touring anymore. That's beyond me. Because she goes, if you're any good at it, this is what she said, if you're any good at it, you'll get Bruce Springsteen.
Oh, the boss would be good.
That would be insane.
Well, he's played once before.
He was at Amy Park, wasn't he?
He's been recently. I saw him at Hanging Rock when he had the guitarist from Rage Against the Machine, Tom Morello. It was an unbelievable experience. Played for 17 hours. It was out of control. But yeah, I mean, we don't know if or when he'll tour again, and if and when he does, whether that will be us.
I can tell you who we're going after free tickets. My whole 10 years at Hawthorn, Alistair Clarkson didn't shut up about Bruce Springsteen. We even had a framed signed Bruce Springsteen guitar on the wall
in his office
in
or
our
something.
theatre. In our theatre. And every song that he themed something to was the boss's song. So he would absolutely lose his mind. And knowing Clarko, he'd get a free ticket.
Wow. I mean, it is funny, though. I mean, the fact that we're doing so many shows, what we're trying to do is say, well, yeah, we're really good at that thing, but we're about more than just that thing. And we work with the biggest and the best promoters in the business. So Live Nation, Luke and Mark and Alex and the team, and then the Frontier. I mean, that's where most of our content comes from those two providers. Nowadays, when someone goes, oh, there's a big act coming to Australia, if they go in Melbourne, their fingers goes, oh, they're playing at Marvel. That's the first question now, which, I think about that, and that's not always the case. But if
mine's if it's like, I go Marvel if they're like significant. It's like, Rod Laver will always have its place, but now that like stardom has grown and fan bases have grown exponentially, obviously things with social media and there's so much more accessibility to these stars, I feel like if you've made it and you're an icon, you're at Marvel.
Yeah.
If you're on the way up, you're still back at Rod Laver.
Yeah, which Rod Laver's a wonderful venue. And this is the thing about Melbourne. Like, and everyone's sort of, and it's Foxy and I actually laugh about this. They're like, oh, head to head, Marvel Stadium, the MCG. So we don't compete. Like, we're not in the same competitive set. We're so different in terms of what we do.
Yeah.
And as Melburnians, we're so spoilt for entertainment. We've got the Music Bowl, which is iconic for its own reasons. You've got Rod Laver, you've got Margaret Court, you've got Amy Park, you've got Marvel, you've got the MCG. Then you've got GMHBA down the road. Yeah, all of this infrastructure within sort of 100 square kilometres is like everyone around the world goes, oh my God, you got the tennis centre, all the things that are happening there. Yeah. It's unreal.
All right, Scotty, just before we let you go, throw me in the deep end. What am I what's this abseiling? What am I doing?
So you will come through gate one. You'll put the harness on. Hopefully it's some sort of Marvel suit. We're working through that.
Okay.
Whoever your favourite Marvel character
Maybe
is.
get him to style
my favourite Marvel character.
Yeah, well, so that hopefully we'll get somewhere near that with a great naming rights partner in Disney. So you're going to get suited up. You're going to walk up to level 3, through the seating bowl, through the back, up the ladder and onto the roof. You'll clip the tether in. And imagine this table is the sort of edge of the roof, 40 metres in the air.
Okay.
So it's 40-metre drop. There's concrete down there. It's not funny.
You make me feel great.
You're not going to
make me feel great.
You will be tethered in, and we've got all the proper stuff that's engineered, all the tethers and the railing. You'll be clipped into that. And you walk around the live edge in the Harbour Esplanade side, looking out over the Balti Bridge, over Victoria Harbour, back around, you'll see the city. And then at that point, you've got a decision to make. You actually go and sit on the scoreboard and watch whatever's happening on the ground.
That's pretty sick.
That'll be fun. There's big deluxe seats, and you sit there and watch a quarter of footy or your favourite song or whatever it is.
Quite amazing. Oh, you can go to concerts as well.
If there's not pyro up there, if there's pyro up there, could
you're not hit by a firework.
And so then you got the decision. You go, right, I'm going to the superstore. I'm finishing like all good tours and things do.
Yeah.
Finishing the gift shop. I can either take the 3-minute abseil down, the 40-metre abseil straight down the wall. That feels like you. Or I can take the 15-minute route and walk down the staircase. So I feel like you're the 3-minute guy.
Mate, if you're waiting for me at the bottom, I'll go down the side.
Again, all very safe, all accredited, and all the right operators.
Of course.
But that I think that's got your name written all over.
And when are we there?
So we're looking probably later this year. A lot of engineering going into some of that stuff, right?
Yeah,
so
of course.
There's gangways and walkways and stuff up there already, which you can go up onto. But in terms of doing it at scale, you got to engineer it right because you just can't get that stuff wrong.
Of course.
So later this year, the tour actually though starts in a couple of weeks' time. So in time for school holidays.
Oh yeah.
So not like your standard stadium tour. You still get all the good bits like the change rooms and the field of play and the benches and the coach's box. But there's some AI stops which I won't take. So I want you guys to come down. But personally, you put your details in at the start. It takes your photo. You sign it off, saying yes, I accept. There's some AI moments throughout the course of the tour that are personalised to you. And at the end, there's personalised things that you take away. So it's a tour, but a bit more contemporary and something that we think everyone will like.
I'm looking forward to it, and it's definitely the abseil option.
I've already got sweaty palms. Genuinely, my palms are already sweaty.
Now, just before we let Scotty go,
yeah,
you're obviously a stylist and do all your jazzy things. What do you think of the pocket square and the suit and the t-shirts?
I think he looks impeccable and significantly better than you've looked on this show for 2 seasons, mate. So you might want to take a leaf out of Scotty's book. Thanks, mate. Thanks so much.
A pleasure. Thanks for
And
having me.
congratulations on everything with Marvel. It's
sounds
such an iconic venue.
No, I appreciate it, and thanks for your support, and thank you for being, I won't say guinea pig, that's not the right word, but thank you for being our test subjects on our new
I'll see you on the
tour.
roof. I'll see you on the roof.
And if you're just tuning in, two unlikely mates, celebrity stylist Elliot Garno and Norm Smith medalist Isaac Smith are here to tell you what is what.
Hey, no Utes in the Valet.